Good evening. It's my privilege to introduce Manuj Aggarwal, a visionary who has journeyed from earning just $2 a day to becoming a globally recognized expert in artificial intelligence. As a founder and CIO of Tetranoodle, Manuj has harnessed the power of AI and innovative technologies to drive transformative business growth. His unique approach combines deep technological expertise with a profound understanding of human psychology, resulting in systems that not only innovate but also significantly expand business capabilities. Celebrated by global leaders like President Obama and Bill Gates, Manoj's work builds on technological and entrepreneurial achievements. Please join me in welcoming Manoj. Manoj, welcome to the summit.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here. Thank you.
I attempted to give an introduction about yourself. Tell me, is there anything else that you wanted to add to that?
I mean, the journey has been quite interesting. As you said, like going from $2 a day to impacting 10 million lives with my work, producing $500 million in value. It has been quite interesting working with companies like Microsoft, IBM, T-Mobile, and creating solutions, technologies that have scaled globally. And I'm very excited about the next phase now with AI, because I think the world is going to change with AI, and I just want to be even more impactful than I have been in the past by really help people understand this technology, implement it in their businesses, and make the impact together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's a very appropriate statement that you've made there in terms of AI and how things are changing. And when we look at the summit where we're looking at obstacles to opportunities, and whilst the focus is around entrepreneurs, in my view, entrepreneurs is a very large spectrum where you have entrepreneurs within established businesses, corporates, and you have, I mean, they might be called intrapreneurs, but then they're true entrepreneurs as well who are running and starting businesses, whether they're small, medium enterprises. But let's look at entrepreneurs in its wider context, whether they're established businesses or businesses that have got entrepreneurs, as in like true entrepreneurs. And in your experience from how you've started helping businesses to the intersection of AI, tell us how entrepreneurs can start leveraging AI to accelerate their business growth, because
Yeah.
especially in the last 12 to 18 to 24 months, there's been a rise in AI, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs in its largest context trying to grasp what AI is and failing as well in the whole
Of course,
process.
of
So
course.
tell us a little bit more about how entrepreneurs can leverage this.
Sure, sure. So before I get into those nitty-gritty details, let me give you two statistics, okay? So the CEO of IBM has said that AI is going to generate about $10 trillion in revenue in the next 6 years. So which means that even if we take a conservative multiple, it's going to be about $100 trillion of value created in the next 6 years. Second thing I will mention is Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI. They are the manufacturer, they built ChatGPT. And he has said that in the next decade, $1 billion companies, public companies, will be run by one single person, which is the CEO. And so these are the kind of things that are going to happen in the world. So now building on top of the second statement, one person will be able to run a billion-dollar company. If you look at the current business scenario, the biggest limiting factor of any company to scale or do big things are the people. And that's also the biggest expense. I mean, the salaries and all that are the biggest expense in most of the companies, because it takes really smart people to work really hard to build something meaningful. Now, smart people are rare to find, and smart, hardworking people are rarer to find. But now with technology, This is another example I give. Einstein had an IQ of about 170, and today machines have an IQ of 1,000, and they are constantly evolving. And in a couple of years, like, they are machines are going to start evolving their own intelligence. So there is no way to compete with machine intelligence anymore. But if you understand as an entrepreneur how to harness that power, then you can build a team of virtual employees. So somebody who's advising you on marketing, somebody who's advising you on sales, somebody who's advising you on operations. And not only that, but not just advising. Now we are building AI agents or AI employees, just like the human counterparts, who are able to do these things for you. So imagine having a full board of directors, which are AI employees, doing the work at the highest level of intellectual ability, working nonstop 24/7, and interacting with other AI agents of other companies. Uh, what kind of efficiency gains and what kind of disruptions you will be able to create. That's where we are at today. Okay. So imagine how things are going to progress in next 12 months, next 24 months.
Yeah. And Manoj, I'm completely down with that because I'm a strong proponent and advocate and believer of how things will turn in the future. And it it rose in my mind as you were describing about the people aspect. It comes down to mindset as well, right? So there's a threat at the moment, or the threat is being felt within companies. Because when you mention about imagine how a board of directors would be AI enabled, as in like true just AI board of directors, or an executive team that might not necessarily have a C-suite or might have a very thin layer of C-suite, or just the CEO, as you mentioned, and AI contributing. The mindset to move to that state needs to be fairly robust, that this is how things are going to be operating this company going forward in X number of years, and we need to prep for that. Do you feel that mindset is a big aspect, and with that comes a lot of preparatory activities?
Yes, yes, yes. Mindset is everything. Mindset is see, this is not new. Paradigms have shifted before as well, starting from as far as when we were in the caves. We were hunter gatherers, and somebody said, you know what if we devise something where we kill a big animal like an elephant, so that we don't have to hunt every day and we can eat for 30 days. And they invented a lever and pushed down a big boulder and killed an animal which was able to feed them for 30 days. Then comes, like, again, so many inventions, discoveries happened. We invented fire, we invented wheel, we invented the printing press. When the printing press came along, there was a huge uproar in society. Like, how can normal people read? Like, what will happen if information gets out, which was only reserved for kings and priests and all that? Then came the steam engine. There was an uproar from people involved in the horse cart industry. Like, what are they going to do? Then the internet came and all that. So every major invention needs a mindset shift. But you will see these inventions are shrinking in terms of how fast they are happening, in terms of the duration.
Yeah.
The internet is like maybe barely, like, 30 years old, right? And the smartphone is what, maybe like 15 years old,
Yeah.
and they have already revolutionized our world. And now here we are with a yet another groundbreaking invention, AI. So yes, the mindset has to shift, but the idea is technology is not going to wait for somebody to shift their mindset. The only thing that will happen is, if you don't change your mindset fast enough, your competitor is going to change it for you.
Yeah. Hence
You
the
know?
exponential age, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Manoj, the some of the critical pieces in my mind and from several business leaders that we speak to, or even entrepreneurs who are in this state where they've got a mid-sized company. So let's just take it into a practical level here, right? So they've got a small company or a mid-sized company, and they're looking at a vision of 24 months to 60 months. And AI has just come left, right, and center especially last year, in the face of businesses and face of people. And there are two scenarios here. One is they're scared to take on big ticket AI, and they're trying to dabble on small ticket AI, but they also don't know how to deal with the next 12 months, 24 months, and 60 months, for example. How are you how are you experiencing that, and how are you addressing that with business leaders or even entrepreneurs that you speak to?
See, first thing is, experience and track record. So, whenever new technology comes out, now there are many so-called AI experts in the world, but we have been, like my company and myself, we delivered our first AI product in 2006. I have 4 patents in AI. So first thing is really look for expertise and track record of people who know what this technology is all about. And uh, pair them up with your business experts so that you cannot eat an elephant in one day. Like you have to eat it one spoon at a time. So work on the most pressing needs today. Figure out where your team and your business is spending 80% of their time, where they are making 80% of their mistakes, where there are opportunities to create new revenue streams or uh, close those leaky holes in your business where you're losing money. All of these things are going to provide you immediate return on investment. And as you know, in business, it's all about that snowball effect. So once you start going down that path, you get to know, okay, how this technology is applicable to my business. And then as you create these partnerships between the technology experts, business experts, now your mind automatically starts to look at other scenarios and say, okay, how can we take the next step and the next step and the next step? It's no different than, when the internet came along. And if I went back in 1995 and if I asked a business leader, hey, do you need a website? In 90% of the cases, they'll say, I have white pages, I have yellow pages, I don't think I need a website. And in a few years, if you did not, 3, 4 years in 1998, 99, if you did not have a website, you did not exist in the world of business. So it's the same scenario here. Like you can start taking baby steps. And now going back to the 1998 websites, they were just bunch of like text on the internet. Like there was not a lot of you couldn't do much with it, right? But at least you got started. And by the way, in 1998, one guy called Jeff Bezos started a website called Amazon, and it took him 15 years to become the richest person on the planet, right? So this is how technology evolves. People who can see the vision, they take the first steps, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. And I take your point around whatever the size of business, there's a coming together of technology and business, because it's not just a technology decision, it's
Correct, correct.
really about a business. You talked about value add, and you know, generally technologists tend to be focused so much on the systems and so forth, but there is a business value aspect to it, and the sooner people recognize that, the better.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's really interesting. But there are also concerns as well, right? So on AI, and how rogue can AI become in an organization? So it comes down to your ethical considerations and or your concerns or issues around that. So how do you address that, or how do you advise entrepreneurs on how to approach these ethical considerations? Because there's also regulations and so forth that.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, in my opinion, again, I just look at long-term history of mankind. Okay, so technology. A lot of people have this misconception that technology is something separate from human beings. It's not. It's part of us. We created it. Just like our offsprings, our kids are part of us, every technology is part of us. So if I say, hey, Steve, do you think the wheel is something, a technology that can be dangerous? Or can we separate ourselves from the wheel? Can we imagine life without wheel? Uh, no. And the wheel can actually, it runs our world, the wheel, but the same wheel can be dangerous because I can run over somebody with my car and kill them. So it's not the technology that is of concern here about ethics and how well it can be used. It's the person behind that technology. So I mentioned earlier, $1 billion company will be run by a person. I didn't say $1 billion company will be run by AI, because the human has always have to be in the loop. It's the humanity, the goodness of humanity that will use these tools to make the impact. Now, if a person has bad intentions, they can also use the technology and do bad things in the world. But if we look at around the globe, even though the news tells us otherwise, 95% of humans are good. They want the same thing. They want progress. They want impact. They want good future for their families, right? And so we need to count on that goodness of humanity to use these tools to make the impact. Yes, there will be bad actors, and that happens today as well with all the existing technology that we have at our hands today.
And you're absolutely right. And it's part of us, right? Technology, and we created that. So and we have the tools and techniques to do that. Excuse me. So with regards to innovative technologies like AI, that's really disrupting, and it's disrupting really, really, really fast, both at a human level and at an organizational level, which means there is space for failure, setbacks. There's well, there's room for next level opportunities as well, right? Because if you see that and then you keep pressing forward in the umbrella of resilience, both from a human perspective, whether it's the CEO or the company, the people side of things, or even from an organization perspective, how do you bring the topic of resilience when it comes to disruption in the face of, let's say, the CEO or
Sure.
executive?
So let's first understand what is at stake, right? So I told you earlier, there's going to be about $100 trillion of value that will be created in the next 6 years. That's just 6 years. There'll be more billionaires made in the next 6 years than any time in history. So that is something to aspire to. The second thing that I didn't mention was, and this is coming from people like Elon Musk and Peter Diamandis. These are very people who know what they're talking about. They say that if companies don't use AI, they will be out of business in the next 6 years because the competition is going to take them over. So the stakes are very high here, right? The risk to award ratio is very much in favor of AI. Now, talking about resilience, we have learned how to ride a bike, all of us. And if we didn't know how to ride a bike, we will not be mobile in the world. But it took us several attempts. Like, we fell down. I remember I had like bruised knees and all that, but we kept going. I said, okay, let me push it this way, let me push it that way. We got training wheels and all that. So this is nothing new, that when you have to deal with a new technology, there's going to be experimentation needed. There's going to be like failures, but all those failures are lessons. Just like today, when we say, okay, we are going to create a new app for the mobile phone because our customers are using mobile, it takes several iterations to figure out, okay, what exactly do people want. Even at a macro level, when iPhone came along, there were several attempts on the smartphone platform by other companies like Microsoft and IBM and whatnot, but they all did not make that much of an impact. Like BlackBerry, BlackBerry was one of the
Research
biggest
in motion,
smartphone.
yeah.
Before that, Nokia. So even at a macro level, you have to take several iterations before you can get to that level of fine tuning. And that happens in a micro level, as I said, when we learn how to ride a bike. But it doesn't mean that you don't do it. You have to do it if you want to compete in this world.
Yeah, I like that. It's true. The experimentation is very important. And when you take those examples like learning how to ride a bicycle, or even learning how to implement a new technology in the company, it takes a few
Mhm.
steps to go forward. Manuj, in your view, you've given a number of examples. If you had to summarize about 2 to 3 practical strategies that an entrepreneur as a business, small, medium enterprise, or even an established multi-million dollar business needs to adapt and embed, then what would those be?
See, I think I hinted it earlier as well. The first thing is find out your bottlenecks, and this a business. Every business has different bottlenecks. So let's say a small to medium sized business, typically their bottleneck is we don't have enough customers. So think about, okay, if you are able to hire the smartest marketing and sales team who have PhD in these topics, how will they transform your business? They will be able to bring you more customers on autopilot, and you will not have to deal with a lot of stress of, where do we get our next customer? So deploy AI in that area. Now, the next is, okay, you already have a lot of customers, and you are growing like really crazy, but your delivery or operations is suffering because you don't have enough people serving the clients in the best possible way. So then again, your bottleneck is operations. Now you start thinking, okay, if I had a tremendous team of customer service agents, tremendous team of people who manage the inventory levels of my stock, tremendous people who can manage cash flow, all these people, if they come together, they will be able to optimize my business, optimize my revenue, optimize the customer experience. So now we deploy AI in these areas. The next one could be, how strategically we want to think. Okay, many people have the right type of customers, they have right type of operations, but what strategically I'm going to do? What is the R&D going to invent for the next 5 years? So once again, you really need smart people to imagine things which haven't been created. But here again, you can deploy AI to think beyond the human ability to think. Like healthcare, for example, I was talking to some neurosurgeons. They are deploying robotics and smart way of diagnosing problems, which is beyond the ability of humans. Today, a neurosurgeon can operate on a human being sitting thousands of miles away in real time. That's possible today. So imagine what will be possible in 5 years. So the idea is that whatever bottleneck you have to do the work to figure out what is that bottleneck. And by the way, AI can even help you with that. Like today, I'm not good at finances and I'm really not good at details, right? I can upload past 1 year of my financial statements into AI, and I can say, you behave like my CFO and advise me where can I save money? What is the trend of cash flow? What can help me find my bottlenecks, right?
Yeah.
And it can do that, and then use AI to help plug those bottlenecks.
Yeah. And Manoj, you've clearly indicated some good strategies there. So I heard one is those bottlenecks where you can convert that into optimized activities, whether it's in, let's say, customer services, operations. So those could also turn into quick wins, right? So those
Yeah,
are
yeah, absolutely.
immediate starting points.
Mhm.
So that's one good practical strategy. So that generates value right in front of, decision makers. And the second piece you mentioned was around R&D and looking at it more futuristic. How can we actually adopt new technologies to bring a new way of operating in the organization? That's a great one. And then I think the third one that you were alluding to was, well, with all of that, then the construct of the organization, which you described, a single CEO being the lead, would be the primary person running the organization. So which means a organizational construct of the organization actually shifts from being very people-centric to, well, you do have the emotional intelligence of AI, working together with people, but the construct of the organization actually changes.
Correct, correct.
I can actually see a very good pathway, and some companies, depending on their size and their motivation and their ambition, their vision, might reach that much sooner and obviously take advantage of that first mover.
Yeah, yeah,
While some
exactly.
companies, as you described earlier about that, even that exponential age and the chasm, they will take much longer because they're not ready yet, or in their mindset, they're not ready yet. Is that kind of a fair statement?
Absolutely. I mean, there is a theory called diffusion of innovation, and it has been like in the economics field for decades. It's a proven theory, meaning many people, about 2 to 3% of human population, are innovators, are risk takers, and they embrace new technology. These are the people who line up, around the block to buy the latest iPhone. But then on the back end side, there are like thousands, millions of people who are still walking around with a flip phone today,
Yeah.
and they refuse to change, and that's okay. I mean, the world is full of people from different backgrounds, different way of thinking, but people who actually innovate take the risk. I mean, business is all about risk and reward. If you are able to take the risk, and if you are able to change your mindset, you are on the forefront, you reap the benefit, and that's just the way it is.
Manuj, we're coming to a close very shortly. Do you have a challenge to new or established entrepreneurs or businesses that you want to put forward?
I will say, the easiest challenge is like take baby steps, dip your toe into this technology, just like riding a bike, put your training wheels, talk to an expert, see, open up your mind and see what is possible. Once your mind is open, the human mind is very, very expansive. It is not going to shrink back. So once your eyes open towards the possibilities, it keeps growing and keeps expanding. So I will say that will be my challenge. Just start today with baby steps.
Yeah. I want to reemphasize that it is very important to take those baby steps, because that baby step could just be an hour's worth of discussion, which
Exactly,
might turn into
exactly,
multiple hours of experimentation
exactly.
and getting value at. So I completely, I'm in alignment with that.
Mhm.
Anything else, Manoj, that you wanted to share?
No, that's it. I mean, if anybody wants to embrace this technology, if they want tangible return on investment, then they can speak to me, my team, my company. We have done tremendous work with this technology, and we want to push the envelope in multiple industries. Like we are talking to entertainment industry, we're talking to roofing industry, we're talking to finance industry, telecom, and it's just a passion for us to see how similar problems in multiple industries are going to be solved with this technology.
Wonderful, Manuj. Thank you very much. And for our audience, we definitely will be sharing the information of Manuj and Tetranoodle. So you'll have a little bit more insight on what Manuj brings to the table from an AI perspective, and we'll ensure that that information is available to everyone.
Thank
Manuj,
you.
thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the day, evening, and thank you very much for being on this
Thank you for
call.
having me. Thanks. Thanks.